And welcome.
I'm Z.
And I'm Keith.
And we're going to tell you about the movie that we just watched. But first, a little bit of a heads up.
Some of the movies we watch deal with heavy subject matters.
In order to talk about these emotionally delicate things and the heavy subject matters that we sometimes cover, we had humor and crude language to add some levity and to process our own trauma.
If that doesn't feel fun or safe for you, we completely understand. Please take care of yourself first and foremost.
And we spoil the end of pretty much every movie that we watch.
Now you know. On with the show.
Do you recommend? Yeah. Hi.
Oh, I see that we're rolling.
Yeah.
And by see, I mean I've put together, I deduced it from context clues.
Well, that's it, folks.
Such
That's the
as-
show. That's the whole podcast. Our final episode. Oh, shit. It's the final episode of the year, though.
Oh, well, shit.
It's the finale.
I'm so unprepared for that to be the case. Wow.
I know.
Only our second full year season?
Yes. Yeah. 4. Because we did 1 and 2 in the first year.
Yeah.
Brilliantly. And then we did...
Yeah.
I know. And then we did 3. And this year's been 4.
Oh, man.
I know. Wild.
Hey, if nothing else, I can look back and say, here's the thing I did.
Right. I know.
And there is nothing else. No history before or after. Okay, so Three Fugitives was a film we watched.
Yeah. It is so much more insane than I remember. It's nonstop. I thought there was like cool down periods. It literally starts, the calmest section of the movie is
Him getting out
Nick
of prison.
Nolte getting out of prison. Also fucking, James Earl Jones being in this.
Yeah.
Completely forgot. Alan Ruck. Completely forgot.
Well, and they go away after the first half of the movie.
Sort of. Well, after the first, I think it's like 2/3 of the movie. I think in the final act, it like is supposed to be like jumps into the future a little bit.
Right. But there's a long period without them, and then when they bring the vet in, isn't that the last scene with them?
They're throughout. They're not a lot. They're not in it a lot. There's just.
Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So the plot of the movie.
Such that it is.
Yeah. Is that Nick Nolte plays a guy who is getting out of prison he went to prison for robbing banks. And James Earl Jones, I guess, is the cop that, arrested him. And he's just like taunting him. And he's like, and he drops him off at a bank.
He's waiting for him when he gets out of prison.
And he basically is like, you're going to do it again. I know you're going to do it again. You can't help but do it again. And so he like gives him a ride via Alan Ruck driving to a bank, and he just drops him off at a bank, which is hilarious to me. It's just and they're like, you're gonna do it
also
again.
Hilarious is that he gets a check for the labor he did while in prison.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that was well, I will say this. It was a movie made in France.
Right.
So I assume that anything that seems you're like, that seems too then he. But I guess that kind of makes sense a little bit because if you were in, because they do this, I'd like to research this and figure it out because they do a lot of stuff where like once you get out of prison, it's like they set you like sometimes you have like a halfway house that you go to or something like that, and it's like, how would you do anything? Like if you didn't have something, how would you?
Yeah, well, that's an issue.
Yeah. No, I'm
A
not
real
saying,
issue, I mean.
No, I'm not saying that that's not a real issue. I'm saying that that's always something that I've wondered. I'm like,
Yeah.
if they get out of prison, they have nothing, but they do get paid. I don't mean that in like a shitty way. I'm pretty sure they do get paid. They get paid very little, but they do get paid for their labor. But I think I always assumed it went to like commissary stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
so this is one of the reasons why they call it like prison labor, because they pay them like cents on the dollar. So
Yeah.
they do get paid, but So it would make sense if whatever they didn't spend while in prison, they get a check afterwards or something. I don't know. Fucked up. It's totally fucked up. But he just goes to open a bank account with this check that he got. And it's literally, he gets out of prison, they give him a ride to the bank. He's trying to open it. He like walks in, sits down, and it's like very boom, boom, boom. It's not like really long and drawn out. There's not like emotional fucking deep breaths or like you could do that. There's nothing like that. He just sits down. He's like, I want to open an account. And then Martin Short comes in and he's like, I'm robbing the place. And of course, it's hilariously comical because it's Martin Short and he can't do anything seriously, even if he tried. And
Also, the giant raincoat they have him in.
yes, throughout the entire fucking movie. And it makes him look so much smaller too, because he's so tiny. So
The best gag is when
the guy comes out.
Yeah, there's some good bits. Like,
100%.
I mean, that you wouldn't see in another, I guess, non-French movie. Like him throwing the bag and it hitting the plexiglass or whatever.
Oh,
and so they have to throw it over. And then the guy throws it back and he's caught in the chandelier. And then Martin Short says, come out here and get it for me. And he comes out as even shorter than Martin Short. And it's very funny. I love when he pushes him. He's like jumping and then Martin Short just shoves him and he goes flying.
I also like the part where they're replaying it.
Yeah.
And he's doing a play. He's like, I could have jumped higher on that too. He's like, I did really good right here. Watch this, It's so fucking funny.
He loves watching himself. It's so good.
And he's like, can I get a copy of this? I really would like. Oh,
I love
God.
that. He's not like embarrassed.
Yes, I
He's
fucking
just-
love that shit. It's so good. But my favorite is he's like, watch this.
Yeah.
Oh, but look at this. Watch this thing I do right here. Watch it. Oh, shit! I stepped out of camera.
Well, thanks a lot, Mr. Filbert.
No problem. Is it possible for me to get a copy of this tape?
What about there?
It's so fucking funny. But
That's good. That character.
did you see? I don't know if you read the trivia,
I did.
but this is the second, like, the director. This is like a French film that was, I think, written and directed by this guy in French,
Yes.
in France for the
Yes.
French audience, and then he made one for the Americas, and then but the previous film that like Martin, this is the second time that Martin Short played like the lead in one of his films. The first one being Pure Luck. I remember
I
is
did not
the
understand that trivia entry, so thank you for making sense of it for me. I didn't understand what it was saying.
Yeah, it was the way that it was like the second time Martin Short like played a lead for the American version of this director's film. The first time being the first one that he collaborated with being whatever, which was Pure Luck. Yeah, it was. Yeah, so I don't remember anything about Pure Luck except for the bee sting part or whatever when they're in the plane.
But Pure Luck was after this because.
Oh, it was?
Wait, when did this come out?
This came out in 89.
Yeah, Pure Luck is 91.
Oh, it is? Oh, I thought it said 81. I must have misread.
I see. And it was a remake of
Yeah.
a film by the same guy. Different director, though, for the...
Oh, okay.
La Chèvre.
Fucking, once... So, Martin Short, I do enjoy the hostage scene so much because Martin Short takes Nick Nolte as a hostage. And they just assume because they know that like a bank robbery is happening at the bank where they dropped off the convicted bank robber. They just assume it's him.
Yeah, they go and get like hot dogs or whatever, and then they hear the radio.
Yeah, but like, you know, like there's a whole like overkill on like the amount of like cops and guns that show up, which I feel like is definitely a remark on American culture from the view of French. But anyway, from the view of French, as you would say. So I'm assuming, like, your assumption is supposed to be that he grabs Nick Nolte because he's taller than him and bigger than him, so he's going to be a great shield. But they are like, why does Nick Nolte have? I mean, obviously his name isn't Nick Nolte in the movie, but for the sake of my brain, we're calling him Nick Nolte. They're like, why does he have a hostage? He doesn't take hostages, and and like Martin Short keeps trying to be like, you know, make demands, and they're like, I don't, like, they're so confused about what's going on.
What's your game here?
And they're like going back and forth, like, and Nick Nolte's like trying to help him out, but like without help. He's like, he's trying to help him in the sense that he's trying to play the victim, not play the victim, but, you know, he's trying to like make it very evident that he's not the one. He's like, I don't have a gun.
Tell him. Tell him what? That I'm the hostage, you shit.
Of course you're the hostage. What do you think?
No, don't tell me, asshole. Tell them.
Excuse me. I think I'm gonna faint.
No, the grenade. Come on, stand up, you asshole. Stand up.
What the hell's going on here?
Who's got the gun, for God's sake, Dugan, huh? Who's got the gun?
And then Martin Short passes out and he drops his gun. He's like, he's the one with the gun, and he just like passes out and he's like, shit. Also, the amount of
hanging off of him.
I've never seen this movie not on TV. So the amount of cussing in this movie was just absolutely beautiful. And the fact that he he just calls him asshole, like that. Nick Nolte calls Martin Short asshole every single. He'll be like, how are you doing? And he'll be like, asshole. And he just calls him asshole the whole time, and it was so fucking funny to me. And yeah, it's kind of gay. Like, this movie is kind of gay. And
among other things.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's not a perfect film, but this movie does say trans rights at the end, you know? I love the scene where Martin Short is like dressing up like a woman. Of course, you know, I love that. But where like the pronoun, like how no matter what, they're not doing like they're like
the pronoun jokes aren't bad.
No, exactly. They're like,
know how to say that. You know, like,
tell your mommy he looks nice, you know, kind of shit. Like, or like, you know, it's just like when she's like, you look nice, mommy. And he's like, don't call me mommy. And he's like, no, she's supposed to call you mommy. And he's like, oh, that's right. And like, shit like like that. Where it's like,
where in the hell is she, your father? Lucille!
I'm coming.
And then because, you know, this is like towards the end when they're like trying to flee the country, which again, I love how that it doesn't take the route you think it's going to take.
That's true.
And it's so far less stressful than most movies would make it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's just like Martin Short is like a bumbling idiot pretty much because he's Martin Short and that's the character he's always going to play. And then Nick Nolte knows what he's doing, but is trying desperately to make sure that he's not the one that gets caught or like that gets in trouble for doing it, because he's like, I'm actually trying to start my life over. So like, this is not helping me. So Martin Short keeps dragging him in because he keeps kind of like blackmailing him. He's like, you obviously know what you're doing. Yeah. I don't. So I'm going to tell everyone that you did it unless you help me. And he's just like, you fucking asshole. He's just like, I hate you. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of smart in that way. Like they don't do the thing where like Nick Nolte is like, all right, I'll help you because I'm such a nice guy. You know, he's just like, he's not in it. I mean, he does kind of, you know, he falls for the, you know, being a family man towards the end. But like, you know, I I know it's probably because I first watched this as a small child.
Yeah.
But the little kid just, she's so tiny and she's so adorable. Don't go.
So fetishized.
No, that's not how I felt. Keith was like, oh, is this where Luc Besson got the idea for The Professional, which was hilarious.
Thank you.
She's so tiny. And whenever she's like running after Nick Nolte, like,
Yeah.
her limbs are so tiny that she's just moving as fast as she can, and it's like she's not doing anything. Oh God!
Credit to the actor though, because
Oh yeah,
she
does
gets shaken so much and
oh my God,
carried,
the scene
and
where he's shaking her in bed,
and she is just
she takes it.
dead.
Yeah, she's
pan the whole time. But the few lines she gets, especially the comic ones, they really hit because she's so dry and
yeah.
like what is it? It's like the one you already said where you look beautiful, mommy, or whatever. But when they get to the hospital or whatever, and she leans forward, I forget what she says, but it really
She says,
hits.
"I want a little brother."
Oh yeah,
or something.
That's what it is.
Because they dress like, because Nick Nolte's at like, not to jump forward, but to jump forward.
Yeah, who cares?
They're trying to leave the country, and so Nick Nolte's like, he gets IDs for them or whatever, passports or something like that. I don't remember. And he's like, it's for me, like, you know, the fake name I have, my wife, and my son.
Kowalski, by the way.
Oh shit! I love their bikes.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you the story? Like, my mom loved to tell this story where my grandpa, who is not blood related to me, but he is the epitome of, like, you know, well, not the epitome, but he's like the exception to the savant rule. You know how like the savant thing is like a trope that a lot of people are like, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
He's a musical savant. He can literally play any instrument. He cannot read music. He cannot write music. He does not understand music, but he can look at an instrument and play any song. He's never taken a lesson. He does not know how to read music, but he can listen to a song and completely play it on the piano. Like, it's insane. It's insane to hear him. And it sounds like I'm making it up. Right. But you know how, like, you hear, like, concert pianists? Like, that's his level of, like, playing. Like, he doesn't just, like,
We're talking, like, Keith Raniere level.
I hate you. So, he doesn't know karate. But anyway, my grandpa, like, I don't know. There was, like, someone...
I'm going to Tina's karate concert.
There was, I don't remember the full story. I just remember that my grandpa was trying to impress this lady that had a bike, and it was a Kawasaki.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, Kowalski. He's like, is that a good brand? And he just kept calling it Kowalski, like trying to like flirt with this person that had a Kawasaki motorcycle. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wild.
And my mom loves telling that story. So if I hear Kowalski, I just think,
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's wild because they also make like,
yeah, they make like,
yeah. Well, I was mostly thinking like electronics, and he was all into.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, he can't read very well.
I think they even made pianos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I might just be thinking of Yamaha.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. Kowalski. Yeah. So they cut off the daughter's hair.
If it wasn't clear.
Yeah.
Was
Oh yeah.
I don't know if
I didn't say anything about it.
just that their phony IDs are that they're a nuclear family. That
Yeah. Yeah.
Martin Short's character is the wife.
Also, I didn't mention this. Yeah.
And Meg is their son.
Yes. So I don't think the daughter, the reason why Martin Short's character is robbing a bank is because his daughter is sort of like special needs. She's like, they say she's sick but she's basically like hasn't spoken since around whatever. She's autistic.
It's basically the quiet.
Yeah. And it's so cute. I do love the part where he tells her to take care of Nick Nolte because he's like a little baby. And she comes in and she brings a glass of water and then she just walks out. Like she doesn't do anything. She just brings him water and then she like
After he barks at her too.
Yeah.
He's
it's like and she sets water down and she leaves. And she like will peek in and just look at him and like just to make sure that he's okay. And I'm like, I love it because what I like about it is that she's like Martin Short knows how to tell her something.
Right.
To make her, like, he knows basically how to communicate with her in a way that she's going to respond.
Right.
And I just like that he's like...
And also that it's a way to keep her safe or to,
Yeah.
like, keep her from,
Yeah.
I don't know, wandering off
Wandering and stuff like that. Yeah.
Because clearly she has a problem with that.
Clearly. Yeah. So, but, like, the reason why he robs the bank is because he has a kid who needs to be in a special school. And he's afraid his kid's going to get taken away, so he
Well,
robs
it's
the
also
bank.
because he lost his job
Yeah.
when the wife died, right?
Yeah,
He
had a breakdown. But that's the
kids
thing,
stopped speaking.
he doesn't have money. His kid needs, and it's one of those things where I think it's really an interesting sort of, because they do talk about, like, he's like, I can't go to jail. And that's all he cares about. He's like, if I go to
Yeah.
jail, then she gets taken away.
Right.
And he's like,
If I'm
she'll-
homeless, she'll get
Right.
taken
Yeah.
away.
And like, homeless people get their kids taken
This is
away.
another
and
way
stuff
you know
like-
it's not American made because
Exactly,
these things will
yes.
not be
That's what I'm saying. Like,
as made as explicit as
right.
they are.
And it would be so like, there would be like a moral sort
Yeah,
of thing.
exactly.
Like, it would be like, well, why are you robbing a bank if you don't want to, if you don't want your kid to get taken away from you? Like, there would be this sort of like moral debate
Yeah.
instead of understanding that, like, literally this is why crime exists.
Yeah.
Like, because there's no winning. Like, it's like lose-lose, and at least this way you have a chance of like getting out or going. So, like, this is why people don't turn to crime, because they're fundamentally bad people. So
those
wipe
people-
that idea out of your head.
Those people do crimes that are completely legal.
Right. Those people become politicians and
Yeah,
CEOs,
or CEOs, yeah,
and
right. So
all that shit. So,
it's almost like the legal system is designed to keep certain things and people in power.
that's crazy. If you make it sound like the system is set up to hurt people, almost like a systemic issue with that. And the implication would be that it's gone back for generations, because that's how long these laws have
That's how long the
existed.
reptilians have been around on our planet.
But like, so like,
And I said this while we were watching, like fairly early on. You tell me that you stated
yeah,
that it was a remake of a French film by
Yeah.
the same director,
yeah, yes.
and I'm very glad you did, because otherwise
Yes.
I would have not been able to. I put my finger on why it feels
not
so
quite.
weird.
Yeah, right. But that's why it works. I think that's why
No, I agree.
it works, because it's not using the tropes of American movies. It's
Sure doesn't.
critiquing just enough to fly under the radar.
Yeah.
And it's showing, and it's like showing you, it honestly is showing you why people turn to crime. And that's something that's and it never punishes them for doing that.
Yeah.
And even Nick Nolte's character, who is a felon who has done prison time, your main concern is him going back to prison. And that, like, I mean, of course that will happen, but it doesn't happen so without any real retribution. Like, he didn't do anything to deserve that.
Right.
He didn't, he didn't save anyone's life. You're like, oh no.
Yeah.
And that,
Because it's
right.
I mean, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, in the sense that
Yeah.
If you have any knowledge of
Right.
that's a real threat, and he's actually like, I don't want to spend. They're both the amount of the tension for both of them. It's an absurd scenario, right? But I will say the tension of both of them being dead set on not going to prison.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is grounds it
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
You know, like I tend
Right.
to, it doesn't work for me typically because I'm a sociopath or whatever, that like if it's a parent and they'll do anything for their kid, I don't really give a shit because I'm not a parent.
Right.
And I don't care about children. That's why I'm pro-life. But the fact that like, you know, it's that's what pits them against each other initially.
Yeah.
And the different ways that gets leveraged.
Yeah. That they both don't
against
want
each other. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's.
I mean, it's goofy as fuck.
Oh, absolutely. It's ridiculous.
At every turn.
The fucking when Nick Nolte drives the van through the bar and what's
Best scene in the whole. Of which there's several.
There are several best scenes. It's so, yeah. I mean, I think personally, I think that the amount, like, obviously Martin Short is a comedian and does a lot of funny, but it's not his typical, like, he's not doing, like, usually in comedies and things, he's always expected to be super flamboyant, pratfalls, like all kinds of things, like physical comedy everywhere.
It's a fair amount of physical comedy.
He does that, but he does it through acting. Like it's not like he's not like walking into a room and, well, I mean, there's that one scene where he keeps tripping over everything, but like he doesn't like open a door and fall. He's not like fucking Julianne Moore in Evolution. You know? And yeah, it's just like. But yeah, like, I mean, obviously there is physical comedy, and I think you need physical comedy in some ways to be able to pull off doing physical acting. Like, I think physical, you know, I think that anything that requires.
See Julianne Moore. CF.
Well, like, this is something where, like, I've talked about this, like, Keanu Reeves is really good with physical acting, and, like, people don't really.
Yeah. You don't think about it.
Yeah, people don't really do that, but that's one of the reasons why he's so good with all his stunts and shit like that, because he's a physical actor, and he would probably do good with physical comedy.
If he wasn't, the Matrix wouldn't have been what it was.
Exactly. Right. 1,000%. But, like, he's able to, like, he puts his whole body into a scene that he's acting in, and it gets overlooked so much because of his, like, his cadence, and it's so fucking annoying that people will be like, he can't act, and I'm like, have you seen him have a conversation with someone? That's his voice. That's not him putting on. It's not him adopting an affectation to pull off a scene. That's how he talks. And I think anytime something comes off with him not doing it very well, it's probably a director not understanding that he's
him.
Yeah, that he's a human being.
Right.
And it's one of the reasons why when he is giving a good performance is usually doing something where there's a lot of physical activity, and it's because he's fully committed to the fucking scene, you know? So like, you know, that's one of the reasons why I think like people who can do physical comedy can also do acting, you know? It's not one of those things like only people who can do physical comedy can do acting, but a lot of times like you understand what putting your body into a scene is, and you don't have to do like physical comedy doesn't mean falling or like getting hit in the head a bunch or whatever. Like, but that's what people equate it to.
Yeah.
And so like it gets really annoying. And I think especially like American audiences, when you say physical comedy, they just think of someone being like, whoa, and tripping, you know? Or like, you know, they have a whole bunch of, you know, they have like a bunch of plates stacked up and they're like, what? And they drop everything, you know, and it's like, that's not, if that's the only thing you can think of to do for physical comedy, then you don't know what you're doing. Anyway, whatever. I'm going on a tangent.
Yeah, I don't understand it getting looked down upon. I don't. My mom always.
I think it's one of those
my
things.
My mom always talks shit on slapstick.
Slapstick. Yeah, for
Quote.
sure.
I'm doing quotes.
Yes.
That was her language for.
That's what. Yeah. Same.
I'm like, first of all, anti-Semitic.
Really?
Probably. I feel like slapstick. I think I've heard this. Is actually shtick.
Yeah.
So I think it's origins are in vaudeville.
Slapstick comedy, a popular genre for centuries, is described as a physical comedy with a silly tone. It is lighthearted and fun, typically using the percussive instrument, the slapstick, to make wacky sounds without seriously injuring cast members. Vaudeville, on the other hand, is a genre of comedy described as the lack of moral intention or higher meaning. It is important to note that vaudeville routines can use slapstick comedy, two terms that are nowhere contradictory.
Oh. Yeah, I think it's one of those things though that like in its Americanization, it gets like
dumbed down.
There's two things you can do. You can, you know, someone gets bonked on the
skill.
head.
I mean, to make it
for sure.
Anyway,
1000%.
And into
again, R.E. Julianne Moore in Evolution.
Yeah, exactly. And I was gonna say, in what you're saying about Keanu, like any acting teacher, coach, whatever of any, it's all about what your whole body is doing.
Correct.
It's not just your face or.
Yeah.
I mean, I know if you're playing to a camera, that's different than.
Yeah. Right.
Stage work, but like.
Oh, for sure.
You still got to embody the thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that I always did when I was acting that I like, you know, not that I have like a great.
Sorry, I don't know why that was so funny.
Yeah.
I apologize.
I always felt like, you know, my whole body has to believe it's in the scene. And like, you know, that's what I'm trying to do at 12 years old in this fucking Christian fucking play. And everyone's like, what? Okay. You know, I remember I was so vindicated though, when I was nervous, like I hated auditioning, you know, for this church play. I always hated auditioning. And
I can't believe they made you audition.
I didn't get the part, you know, that I wanted.
Oh, yeah.
And I was so livid. And they gave it to this girl that we looked roughly the same age, but I was 12 and she was 8. And
the fuck?
She looked a little bit older than her age. I looked younger than my age.
Right.
So everyone was very surprised, and it was one of the lead roles. And everyone was very surprised that this 8-year-old wasn't able to carry the production. And she didn't know how to act.
Yeah,
and
weird.
so anytime she was performing on stage with the lights on and everything, like through dress rehearsal, she was going. The whole performance was a smile on her face. And I, in a fit of self-righteous indignation, I acted out her scene like backstage while it was going on the stage, and they were like, the girls around me were like, you should have gotten the part. And I was like, I know. I was like, I felt so comfy. It was beautiful. Dude. I was like, and I think I said, I know. So I was, but like, yeah, like, it, you know, it's just one of those, I always was like, yeah, you know, you have to believe that your whole body has to be in it. And me to myself as someone who acts out scenes while I'm writing them in my fucking, you know, den of lies or whatever you want to call my office.
What'd you call it?
Den of lies. Oh. I do a lot of lying in there.
I see.
Not lying down, but lying, telling tales. Both as an author and also as a femdom nasty bitch or whatever you want to call it. A dommy mommy.
Oh God.
A baddie daddy. Anyway, if you go to TipPix, what is it? TipPix.com.
I believe ztitpics.
ztitpics.co.uk. You'll find the link tree.
That's right.
You'll find the link tree to explain what Pornhub is.
And how to spell SSBBW.
How to spell it.
Oh, Lord.
How to spell,
we
how
have
to spell an acronym.
Yeah. I think we talk about pornography maybe more than we talk about movies.
Not enough, if you ask me.
Podchast. Podchased.
Chastity fetish.
Which, remember that time that
I don't know.
we turn up on a list of
Oh my God. It's like some incels.
Of media about
virginity or something.
Abstinence.
Yes, that's right.
Because of a subtitle I gave one of them. Oh, fuck. What was it?
I hope it's the Primal Fear one, and that's why it's at the top. Yeah, I don't remember which one it is, but it's so funny. AI, it serves everyone. Oh God.
Yeah, so it's goofy and yeah, this movie has lots of turns that you don't see coming.
It just and like
it feels like a very familiar kind of movie,
right?
Like, and so you think you know where it's going.
Yeah,
you do not. You never do.
It doesn't get you when you think it's going to. It gets you when you don't. Like, it really, like, the things that happen, the way that things go wrong are not really ways that you expect. The redemption arcs don't really happen the way that you think they're going to happen. They don't utilize the kid in ways that films usually do.
That's for sure.
They don't really. Also, they don't really do the thing of like. They don't really do apologetic policing. Like, the police are.
No, I was going to say overall, it's
don't.
I think you could say it's at least.
Yeah.
Police and prison critical.
Yeah.
Legal system, justice system.
Definitely. Yeah, it's very.
There's so many cops, and they're all horrible at their job.
Yes, they're horrible at their job, but also, there's a scene where they like hit a cop in the head with a rock. They knock one out and just like drag him into a bush, and
that's
then
what I mean. There's so many of them. They're just fodder.
Martin Short gets hit by a bus of cops at one point.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites.
You okay?
Yes.
Are you nuts? Are you trying to commit suicide? Don't you know where the crosswalk is? That's our guy.
Let's get him!
I love that scene just because it's a good getting hit with a car scene. I do love a good car accident, in a involving a person. Like in Elf, it's always one of my favorite scenes where it's he's looking at the building that he's supposed to be, the not Macy's building, and he starts walking towards it, but he's not paying attention. Like it does the thing of like you think it's gonna be a shot of him walking to the thing, and a car comes out and just slams into him and knocks him over, and then he just gets up and so funny because
or the beginning of a Bag of Bones.
Oh my god! Or fucking Resurrection, the kid.
Yep.
There was something else.
What did we watch recently that?
Wait, okay. How about when we were watching it last night, and as they're driving up to the vet's house, we both said, "That looks like Ali Sheedy's house."
We didn't even finish.
We didn't even finish it. We just started punching each other in the dicks because we both
wild.
said at the same time, "That looks like Ali," and we knew Ali Sheedy's place in Short Circuit. We fucking knew. All we said was, "That looks like Ali Sheedy," which it doesn't, but we knew what we meant. We knew.
Yeah,
what
that
we
was
meant.
wild.
Yeah,
that's the best thing about this movie.
I agree.
Apparently, that his last film.
The
Macmillan, the guy who played the vet.
Oh,
Baron Harkonnen.
Yeah, he died 3 weeks before.
Yeah, before it was released. Yeah,
that's always really sad to me.
You also got Bruce McGill, who's someone I've
Yeah.
only just put together who he is, and now he's in every single thing I watch because he's one of those actors.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in a hurry.
Oh, excuse me. I didn't realize you were in a hurry.
Yeah, well.
May I ask if you brought ID photos?
Yes, I did. Still wet. I just got them on the way over here.
These are terrific of you. You really are very cute.
He's in that episode of, I can't remember what his character's name is. I have to look it up, but he's in that episode of Voyager where 7 of 9
Of course he is.
goes through time. Yeah. I think it's a good, I like it because I think it does a good job of the thing that like they try to do in the finale of The Next Generation, All Good Things, where they like put you into past episodes, like things that you knew, or like, you know, like but like everyone looks 7 years older.
Okay.
So they don't look
right.
like they looked in 1987, you know, even though it's 1994 or whatever.
Right.
But they do.
The math checks out.
Right. They do this in Voyager where 7 of 9 gets like basically like they put her throughout time and she's like.
Is this the one where Harry and Chakotay come?
Nope, it's not that one. But she's in like they have the macro virus episode that happens and like she suddenly is there, but like it doesn't look different. Like it looks like, you know, like Janeway's hair is the same as it was because, you know, she was wearing a hairpiece back then. So, you know.
Oh, really?
Well, I think so. I think they had her hair in the fucking weird sort of like.
Yeah, that weird bun thing.
They always like, or like there was like a period of time after the bun where she just had her hair in a ponytail, but it was always exactly the same. And I'm always like, that's not real hair. Because it always, you know. Like it's always like, you know.
Like Jadzia's Bump It.
Oh, fucking. I'm glad it gets smaller after the first season, but the first fucking season of DS9, she just is going to her high school prom in the year 2002 or whatever. Yeah. It's horrible. But yeah, like it's basically like I don't want to say
hairpieces. This movie.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's a comedy of errors because that I think that kind of like diminishes.
Yeah,
but it also is like pretty.
Andromeda Strain. That's a comedy of errors.
It's basically just following them, making bad decisions, but like explaining why they're in that situation.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. Like, I think it avoids doing, this is the thing that I fucking hate, when someone tells a lie or someone does a fuck up and then they just keep doing worse and worse things to try to cover it. Yeah. Kind of. I hate it. It gives me anxiety. It's like, it's going to be worse for you. Like, they make the main goal of this not to not get caught, but to, like, save his daughter. So, like, them not getting caught becomes sort of the default, but that's not their main focus. Mm-hmm. So, like, they're trying to, and, like, because there's, like, another element in there, like the little girl who they can't always, you know, account for, you know, like, she gets taken away at some point. Like, that's, like, you know, and the way that he says, like, his concern is not that he won't have her. His concern is that she won't thrive in that.
Yeah.
You know, she is going to get worse in that environment.
Because that's often what.
Exactly. It's like, I'm her father. I know what's best. He sort of says, like, I'll take care of her. They will not.
Right.
And, like, she won't survive a place like that. And then she gets put in there and she stops eating and she gets she gets sicker. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's showing you, like, this is his fear. It's not that, you know.
And it's justified and rational.
Exactly. It's not that he, you know, it's not like, oh, I want my daughter to have everything. No, he just wants her to not have nothing, you know? Right. And it's so, you know, there's a lot of stuff like that it really focuses on to make you understand why they're in these situations. And I think, again, like we said, would not happen if it was an American movie. And again, I'm like, oh, this makes sense. I didn't know it until we were watching it last night. I was like, oh, this makes sense. This is why it holds up. This is why it is compelling. Because I think there's more of a critical outlook from people from other countries or other places when they're coming here and trying to write or create art about something here. It's like you are like, even if it's unconscious, you're not used to the rules. So you're going to write them in a way that where you're like, okay, whatever, I guess, and it's going to come through. So as like slightly like, why are we doing it like this? And I think that makes I think that makes more interesting of a dialogue, or that can engage more of an interesting dialogue than a lot of times people here trying to make something that's critical.
Yeah, right.
Because a lot of times, like, you can't do that because there's just not as much room for that as there used to be.
And you have your own. You're gonna have your own.
I didn't mean
spots.
used to be. I mean, there's not as much room for that as there is otherwise. Like, you would be able to, like, if you were coming from somewhere else, you'd be like, I guess this is a fucking what do you call it? Two people from two places, like culture clash. I guess it's a culture clash. Whereas if you're from here, they're like, you can't put that in here.
Right.
So anyway, whatever. Would you recommend this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's
Kinda.
I think it's a good Martin Short movie. I think this is like one of the few good Martin Short movies.
It's a great Nick Nolte movie.
One of his best. And
it's no Down and Out Beverly Hills.
Who I guess he was playing the French version or the American version of the French.
No, I think it's the other way around. The French version happened later, and Gerard Depardieu played the analogous character.
Oh, I thought it said. I thought
no,
it was
again,
the
it's a similar
backwards.
thing.
I thought it was the backwards of that. I thought it was. He played Gerard Depardieu's version of something. I don't know. Maybe not. You're right. Maybe.
Let me read it out because it's obviously worded well.
Saint-Omer.
Pardon?
I got a whiff of my Tiger Balm. And I said, Saint-Omer.
Nick Nolte's character was previously played by Gerard Depardieu in the original film.
Oh,
so in the
shit.
French version of Three Fugitives, the analogous role was played by Depardieu. Depardieu also appeared in Baudu, 2005.
Oh.
While Nick Nolte appeared in Down and Out in Beverly Hills in 1986 as the American version of Depardieu's character.
Yeah. Okay.
What?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That I don't. Yeah. Never mind. We're both right. It's not. It does. Who knows?
Nonsensical.
Who knows?
Yeah. Baudu is a lighthearted social comedy about the house guest from hell, a modern rework of Renoir's classic film about a vagabond saved from drowning. So, I see. Down and Out in Beverly Hills is a remake of an older French film. Baudu is a different remake of that same source material.
Wait, I'm sorry. Say the first
The
part
audience
again.
gets it.
Okay. No. Yeah, you're right. I'll listen and I'll... Oh!
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm like, can you repeat that? No, I'll just listen. I'll just listen in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Okay, year in review, month in review.
Wait, I want to say if I recommend.
Oh, I'm sorry.
God. Yes. No, I think I did say that I recommend. I recommend it for the points we talked about. No, I definitely recommend it for like a more like I think it's definitely a more critical and more serious look at like crime and you know, what makes a family kind of thing than anything in the 80s. Especially mainstream, that was trying to do something like that.
Well, of which it was probably not much.
Not much. And, you know, it's a very interesting, I mean, yeah, it does not pass the Bechdel test. I don't even think Bechdel's in this. And
when Meg talks, it's only in relation to male characters.
It's only in relation to begging a male character not to leave her. So that girl needs therapy. Already she's juggling 2 men in her life. This poor girl. She's not even 5. Like, what the fuck? I'm just kidding. I don't know. Love triangle.
Also,
I do love that Martin Short's like, let me make sure I take care of her no matter what. Nick Nolte's like, get the fuck away from me. And she's like, you're the one I want.
Right. Daddy issues.
Mommy issues, too. She got them both.
And cousin issues.
Not mom, not dad, not uncle, not Nick Nolte.
Denise.
There's only the one.
For me, I enjoyed because I lived in the area that it's shot around Seattle and Tacoma.
Yeah, you kept being like that. Oh, that's the blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, at the end when I think it's the scene when she first speaks.
don't
That's
go.
That's at the gas works, which is now, it's like an old refinery. That all that stuff is still there. All that ugly ass pipe work and stuff, still there. And now it's a public park.
Nice.
Like I think it is fenced off. Like you can't really like get on it, but like also, and it's right on the water. It's right on the. It's a good place to go to watch 4th of July fireworks.
Oh, I bet it is. Yeah.
I remember it for that. And for 19, and this is 89, so right? So before grunge blew up.
Yep.
And before things were set in Seattle for no reason. And probably weren't even shot there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shot in Vancouver, probably. Right. So I like that.
Yeah.
All the stuff we already mentioned. The stuff with Meg is real.
I know.
Hard for me until everybody's in drag. Except
yeah,
for Nick
Nolte. That was where I figured you'd be like, oh, I get why you. I'm pretty sure that I had that same haircut at some point when I was
which
around
one, the boy one or the girl?
The boy one.
Because you have.
I have the girl one now. Believe it or not. And yeah, so
she looks like a fucking. I mean, she already looks like a doll in her female presentation, and then when they turn her into a boy,
she looks like my buddy and
exactly what I was thinking. Thank you. I can't remember the name of it.
My buddy. Okay, another you, another movie podcast and movie you.
Wait, I had a little more to say.
Okay. I wanted to say that so bad.
I wanted you to say it so bad. The unnecessarily long ass scene where she comes and finds like Nick Nolte collapses so many times in this movie, which I appreciate.
Yes, that's another thing that you won't find that in America. No. A guy passing out because he's lost so much blood. Yeah. Usually he's like, no, this makes me stronger.
Yeah. No, it doesn't feel particularly sensical, but overarching, it makes sense. Like, he's been shot in the fucking leg.
Yeah.
Femoral artery.
You're right.
Potentially. So, yeah. There's one point where I was like, oh, he just remembered he had an injury when he's running away from some cops.
Yeah.
But, he collapses so many times. Appreciate that. But, yeah, when he's just there in the fucking warehouse or whatever, and then she comes and finds him and lies down with him, and it goes on forever, and the lighting, and oh my God.
Yeah.
Hated it. Made me so uncomfortable. And then they're in love.
No.
I mentioned Bruce McGill. His thugs are amazing.
Love it.
His
Love
henchmen,
it.
I should say. Thugs.
Girl.
Sorry.
Bleep that out.
Yeah.
The guy, I think that it took me a second. The black guy that is one of his, as you like to call it. No, I'm just kidding. That's one of his henchmen.
He was great. I love that character. I want more
I
of that character.
believe. I'll have to look it up for sure. And if I'm wrong,
was
you
in
can
Oz?
do it. No, if I'm wrong, you can do one of those like little. It turns out that Z is a stupid fucking idiot.
I love it.
But I think he was in an episode of Wings, and it was the
nice.
same episode of Wings that the last time that I was like, oh, I know that guy from that one single episode of Wings, and I know it because he has like an interesting. Maybe I'm gonna have to look it up because I feel like an arsist.
An arsist.
Racist.
Hard arsist.
I gotta give it to you. Another day. Stupid fucking sound.
And is somewhat hinted at by Z. There's a scene where Bruce McGill is holding Martin Short hostage to get money out of Nick Nolte's character. Nick Nolte drives a van, and he owns a bar, and that's the setting. Martin Short is in the basement. And this is the guy that's supposed to get him phony papers to get across the border. So Nick Nolte knows him from his previous life. Anyway, so he knows where to go. He drives the van directly into the bar.
Yeah.
The van pushes the actual bar into Bruce McGill, who then goes flying through the wall behind him, obviously on a, wire or whatever. Wilhelm scream. Then he lands on one of his henchmen who's taking a shit on the crapper.
In the crapper. He's on the crapper, but he's not shitting on the crapper, just to be clear. And I was right. He's in the one singular episode of Wings where he is reading a note from Carol to Brian. Carol plays both Joe and Brian's ex on the show. And
Is that what's her
she's
name?
the reason.
Crystal Bernard?
No. What? No.
Oh,
That's-
right. Carol's the
ex-wife of Brian and the ex-fiance of Joe,
right.
who that's why they have their spat in the first place. Been the first,
and they have to split custody of the child.
Yeah.
She doesn't know which one's the dad.
Yeah, and and he's reading Brian a note, but he's reading it he has that like flat sort of like.
What his name is?
His name is, I think, Ty Richardson. I'm gonna double check. Wow.
We also get Brian.
Cy Richardson.
Cy
Sorry.
Richardson. Yeah, he was great.
What did you say?
We also get a Brian Thompson for a second, as we know him, the alien bounty hunter from X-Files.
Yes. Also, one of the people from that episode of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, one of the World Wrestling Orion Syndicate. He just looks like
the
a
Orion Syndicate. That's right.
Yeah.
And then
Or he just looks like future football league. Is what he looks like he's dressed as. He's around, and his outfit
ridiculous.
Amazing.
Yes.
Especially because then Nick Nolte presumably is wearing it afterwards.
And somehow seems like he's doing drag or something while he's wearing it.
Yeah,
Like he really
right.
doesn't.
It's like what Sam Kinison would wear if he without the raincoat.
It looks like something. What's that one guy? He's
Sinbad.
no, he's white and Andrew Dice Clay. It's like an Andrew Dice Clay outfit.
Well, Andrew Dice Clay just had a regular the classic motorcycle leather jacket with all the zippers.
Ugh.
Yeah, he sucks. Horrible. Why did anybody give him the time of the
My
day?
sister's husband. Ugh. I knew who Andrew Dice Clay was because I existed in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I'd seen him do things and not funny. And my sister's husband tried to show me Andrew Dice Clay's. He's like, have you ever seen this guy? He's so funny. And I was like, yes, I've seen him. He's like, isn't he hilarious? And I was like, no. And he was like trying to play his like comedy special. I was like, no, I don't. I mean, I hate it. It was known we hated each other. We would like. I was 13 when we got into our first yelling match with one another. Not kidding. Did not, just hated him. And I was like, why? Why are you trying to show me Andrew Dice Clay to like get on my good side? Like I fucking don't like you. Oh, I still don't like him. That's why I call him my sister's husband and no other name.
Another you.
Another Yale, another movie podcast in review.
Okay, this month, let's see. What did we have? We had Secret of My Success.
Secret of My Success. Don't
We
Tell
had
Mom the
something before that.
Babysitter's Dead.
Wow.
Postcards from the Edge. Serial Mom? Did you say that already?
I don't remember.
Yeah, you didn't. You said Secret of My Success. Serial Mom and then Three Fugitives. I think
Wild.
I like.
What a wild group of movies.
I like Serial Mom a lot. I liked Postcards from the Edge. I think Three Fugitives is probably my favorite. I knew that was going to happen. I was most excited about that. I'm glad we finally did it for the podcast. Yeah, I think it's been a fun month. I'm glad we stuck to mainly comedies.
Not even intentionally, really.
Yeah.
And wow, they're all so different.
Yeah.
They're all pretty batshit in their own ways.
Exactly.
So,
and I think it does a good
kudos.
job of showing, like, come on. It does a good job of staying to the theme of, like, not necessarily adhering to functionality or, you know.
Yeah, but also not. They're all redeemable, or like the characters are redeemable.
Oh, yeah.
So not just terminally toxic.
Correct.
You know,
Yes.
dysfunctionality.
Correct.
And sometimes the system is dysfunctional, as we learned.
Fucking, oh, shit.
Yeah, hard for me to pick a favorite, honestly.
What about
Probably Serial Mom.
Serial Mom? Yeah,
But-
I really like
but,
Serial Mom, yeah. That really gave me that one hit me in a way I wasn't expecting.
Yeah,
Like, it really,
same. But I can say that for every one of these.
Same, yeah.
I'll probably put Don't Tell Mom near the bottom, but that's only because of the other movies. You know, like it's totally decent for what
sure.
it is and wild.
I'm not going to put it. I think
like the messaging.
I think Secret of My Success is at the bottom for me.
Yeah.
Only because Jane Brooks in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, so that one's near the top
good
just
point.
because my boo. Okay, but year in review.
Oh God.
What?
I don't know.
I know.
What's the point?
Yeah. My favorites are all the ones that Martin Donovan were in.
Yeah.
Those are my favorites. Nadia was really good. I
can't even.
amateur.
It hurts my brain to even try to think about.
I mean,
everything
How
we've
Hardly's
watched.
my favorite month by far. That just stays my favorite. I knew that was going to happen because that one.
Let's shout out all our guests this year.
Randall.
Flota,
that's right.
Our number one listened to episode. So thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks.
You
for
won't hear
that.
this, but thanks for coming on. and getting your peeps to listen to us.
Yeah, our W.
Our W.
We'll have them on again at the beginning of next year.
Probably our next episode that you hear.
Oh, really? I thought it was going to be.
Well, we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
We'll see. And then that's it for
I guess so.
guests. If you're interested in being on, let us know.
Fucking get at us.
Yeah. Only if
You want to come on to call us racist.
only if you're gonna not tell us that we're wrong about
Yeah, you have to agree with everything we say.
It's I love hearing criticism, just not in a way that's ever gonna make me feel bad. So don't do it in that way, and then it's fine.
What?
I'm quoting that Forrest.
Yeah, what is it?
Oh, I
What's
don't
the
remember.
acronym?
Oh,
Rejection.
RSD stands for racist, so don't come at me. Oh, RSD stands for rejection sensitive dysphoria.
What does Bunny call it? The Popcorn Chronicles?
Popcorn Chronicles. Oh, speaking of popcorn. Yeah, like Amateur really hit me in a way that I was not expecting. That movie really, really
Amateur.
amateur. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And
That's wild.
it really like it made me emotional after. I was like, wow, Lawn Dogs too. Lawn Dogs is another one but that one was a revisited, so I knew I'd like that one a lot. But yeah, I think it Amateur, like anything with Martin Donovan, Nadia, Amateur. Oh God, fucking. What was the first one?
First what?
The first, not the first one. The one we did with Floda.
Simple Men?
Simple Men. God, I was like, Unserious Men? Why am I knew Men was in it.
The Unbelievable Truth.
Yeah, I was getting, anyway.
A Serious Man.
Yeah, exactly. That one, Donovan's performance in that,
Oh, God,
I just
yes.
fucking lost my shit. That one, and yeah, and so really, but I think, yeah, my tops are going to be,
Man, The Keep is really up there for me, too.
I know it was. You really liked The Keep.
I did. Fucking loved it. Bonk shit. Cuckoo.
Yeah. That shit bonk cray. Yeah, I think Lawn Dogs. Well, hang on. Let's
God.
what? I'm not gonna go through every single fucking movie.
All right.
I just don't remember.
I don't either. It hurts my brain to even.
What am I doing?
What did we start with?
That's what I'm trying to go. Oh, yeah, we
Trapped
did
in-
Event Horizon. That was a good one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what was our Halloween this year? We'd had Event Horizon. Night of the Creeps was great.
Mm-hmm.
Critters? Was that this year?
Yeah, that was this year. That was for.
Oh, that was for my birthday. Only good one for my birthday. Man, what a rough birthday month I chose for myself.
Oh yeah, we did Easter. Oh, we did Neil Jordan month,
Oh, that's right.
and we did like yeah. What was our first? Oh,
January.
Jan. I don't want to say I wasn't a fan of that, but wasn't a fan of that. I'm sorry.
You're just wrong.
We did Black History Month. Malcolm X. That was a good one too.
Turns out, Malcolm X, good movie. Set it off.
Yeah. Set it off. Yeah, that was really, wow. Jumpin' Jack Flash, again,
Yep.
holds up. One of my favorites.
The Sassy Sisters movie to Die Hard. I decided.
1,000%.
I decided. Once we watched Working Girl this year.
Oh, yeah, we did Easter's Revenge. We did The First Power. That's the one we did with Randall. That was a good one.
That was good.
So good.
That was a great one to have a guest for as well because
Absolutely agree.
it made it so much more fun.
1,000%, yeah. My birthday was a good month too, man. We did The Crying Game, Leon, Silence of the Lambs, The Sixth Sense.
Oh, yeah. You did it right. I did it wrong.
That's because you tried to
I was exercising some demons, basically.
yeah.
It had to be done.
They'll say we're in love. Fucking.
Dr. Lecter.
Oh, yeah, we did
Dr. Lecter.
Pride. Pride was a good one, too.
Dr. Lecter.
Dr. Lecter. Dr. Lecter. The way she does it. It's just, oh, man.
Yeah.
Heavenly Creatures.
Yeah, what do we do?
Desert,
Priscilla.
Priscilla, Desert,
Hearts.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Idaho, and then Heavenly Creatures. Yeah, we did some good. We do some good shit. I made you watch Wait Until Dark.
Oh, man. Yeah.
That was a good one.
I mean, it should be up. I imagine it'll be up by now if I'm doing my job. But become a patron so you can get. I'm going to do a playlist that's a sampling of favorite from soundtracks, favorite tracks.
Oh yeah.
So it'll be. It's going to be mostly score, but I'm going to throw in some songs too.
Yeah.
Mostly prompted by the amount of Tangerine Dream this year. 2 whole movies. Plus some from Unmentionables, specifically, though, Wait Until Dark because that soundtrack fucking rules.
That shit slaps. Surviving Desire. Oh, I liked that one.
Of course you
Martin
did.
Donovan plays a teacher. Oh, Martin Donovan, if you're out there, I know that you're like
Jesus
70
Christ.
years old and
Semi-retired. No, I don't think that's true.
and I know that you play a guy married to Nicole Kidman, which we'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, where did that happen?
Lioness, which
Oh, yeah.
I like almost want to make you watch it because I really just need somebody to talk to about it because it's a very interesting show, but it like I can't tell if it's being at all critical to, and so I need somebody to. It's the same thing with. There's another movie. It's I can't remember what it's called, but it also has Martin Donovan. I've seen it because Martin Donovan's in it, but it's a movie about like a terrorist.
Yeah.
And it's like a Muslim terrorist who is played by Michael Sheen, who is a white man. No, it's like it's his religion. Like he's adopted
okay.
being Muslim.
He's a convert. Okay.
Correct.
I thought you meant.
No. And so it's this thing of, I'm like, I cannot tell.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about basically like how to like try to get information out of a prisoner kind of shit and like why there's rules, why there, and all this stuff. And they're trying to find a bomb. And if they don't, then basically people in this huge area of New York is going to get blown up because he's like a very, it's like a nuclear bomb or something. I don't remember. But it ends with them killing the guy. And they don't know if there are bombs.
Wow.
If there are more bombs, and they're like, and it ends with them being like, what do we do? And I'm like, is this movie critical? I can't tell if this is being critical. I can't tell if it's safe because it's like, it's like a Muslim terrorist, but it's a white guy from America who's, and they, and I'm like, and it really, I'm like.
P.S. By the way, most of the cases like that we hear about are shit that the FBI has manufactured.
Oh, 1000%. Yeah.
Like, or CIA or whoever.
Remember how there was a list of gang members, and it was basically like this entire database of known gang members, and turns out it was made up. They just put people in there. It was not.
That was Chicago PD, right? I mean, I think it was shared, but
it was. I don't remember. Honestly, but it was like, it was insane. Like there were like so many people on it, and it wasn't even just that it was like mistaken. It was just that they put people on the there. It wasn't even like the whole list was manufactured. Like it's crazy. Anyway, ACAB and free Palestine
with purchase of one.
I feel fine and I feel good. I feel like nobody should. Whenever I get this way, I just don't know what to say. Why can't we be ourselves like we were yesterday? I'm not sure what this can mean. I'm not sure what it seems. I did admit to myself that if I hurt someone else, they'll never see just what we're meant to be. Come on! Every time I see you falling, I get down on my knees and pray. I'm waiting for that final moment. Say the words that I can't say.
Pod chased.